Another case, another fun class 3 actually. So this is great. I mean, Isaac, again, when you start really trusting this technology and you really have got your systems dialed in, these cases become really actually super fun to treat. Things that used to be a little bit scary now, just really, I know that as long as I have a patient who shows up, that we're going to be great. Isaac came in with an underbite, lack of smiling. He didn't like the fact that you saw more of his lower teeth in his upper. You know, pretty much everything that you see with a class 3. And in 14 months, again, we're able to really take care of this young gentleman. So let's look at the case planning and setup. Again, this is the most important part of any treatment, is getting off on the right foot. So we're going to go ahead through his records, then we'll talk about his variable torque selection and ultimate bracket positioning. So his upper arch is already pretty well developed, right? I mean, that happens a lot in class 3s. The lower arch is usually, upper and lower arches usually have some development. So we really don't have a lot of transverse we need to work on. But you can see that he has spacing on the bottom. He's got a little bit of an increased curve speed from over-eruption of the lower incisors due to a lack of contact, just what Dr. Andrews talks about. That's why we have nice facial inclination and good overjet and overbite is for stability. But we can see that we have to resolve that. But if you look at this, you can also see that his lower incisors are retroclined. If we look at his x-rays, non-contributory, everything's great. And when we look at his stuff, we can see, really that we really want to make sure that we're taking care of it. But the lower one to MP is upright, and we want to make sure that we get that back. So class 3, he's got mild arch length discrepancy. He's got this deeper bite. Everything's looking good. But on his problem list, we want to make sure we're leveling the lower, and we're going to gain a nice positive overjet and overbite, so then we can dial in his mini and micro-esthetics. So when we look at his variable torque selection, this is a very typical class 3. I know in the last case that we showed, there was a little bit of a difference because we showed retro in the lower incisors, but let's kind of focus on this one. Retro upper, pro lower, this is really going to combat all of the effects of class 3 elastics. Again, the positioning is pretty standard for class 3s. We're at 6 on the upper, 5.5 on the lateral, 5 on the canine, 5 on the lower, and 5.5 on the lower canine. So you can see here, again, pretty typical, nothing too out of the ordinary. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at how this treated. So you can see this young man, we pretty much went from initial to final. Again, let's kind of break down how we did this. I'm really happy with his final. I mean, he looks like a completely different young man. And I know that functionally, we've set him up for a lifetime of health. So again, this won't look much different than a class 1 or a class 2, with the exception that we ran class 3 elastics. We selected the proper torques to combat and put the anterior teeth in the proper facial inclination. So we have 0-4 NiTi, 0-8 NiTi, 140275, and class 3 elastics from the lower 4s to the upper 6s, only 2 ounce 3/16 elastics. Okay, from here, we have at the end of phase 1, and what we can see here is that we have really, really, really nice movement. Now, even though we weren't able to jump his anterior crossbite in this phase 1, you can really see the amount of space that we've achieved on the bottom, the way we've consolidated it. He's starting to become edge to edge. He just can't get his bite back, and that's okay. From here, I know that he's wearing his rubber bands. We're able to bring these teeth in, and things are going to start looking better. So at phase 2, we're able to reposition. You can see that we repositioned a few brackets, the upper left canine, I think some lower teeth as well. 180275 NiTis went in, and we continued the class 3 elastics. So from here, this is looking really good because even though, again, we weren't able to jump his crossbite, and the reason we weren't able to jump his crossbite is because he had a pretty good curved Spee. His lower incisors were over-erupted, probably by 2 millimeters. So rather than disarticulating him and trying to get clearance, I wanted to keep him comfortable, and unfortunately when that happens, the occlusion holds those lower teeth forward. So we just worked on everything. Now you can see the mechanics here. We went ahead and chained the lower 3 to 3, put in our 125 gram, 12 millimeter NiTi coil spring from the post to the 6, and then continue class 3 elastics. Now for what you'll see here at the end of phase 3 is just, it took a little longer, right? So we put the 180275 steel in, we put our 160275 steel in, and what we did is we had them come back every 6 weeks. All we did was remove the lower wire, cut off the length, reshape it so that it was kept a nice arch form, and then put the system back together. Continuing the class 3 elastics, here is about a week before debond. We saw that everything was looking good. His buccal occlusion looked great. His smile arc looked nice. So we went ahead, took his braces off a week later, and finished up in just a really, really great form. So in his phase 3 appointment, we went ahead and did a gingival reduction on the upper 3 to 3 to make sure that when he came back a week later, his gums were looking good, so we could take our scan for our Essex retainers. And you can see some of that redness along the gum line after a week of healing. 14 months, 9 visits, looks great. Remarkable young man, did everything we asked him to do. And again, you have to be careful. The upper right canine had a lot of tip in it. So we went ahead and followed that up through retention. So you can see just the numbers look spot on. Lower ones look great. Upper ones are really nice, interincisal angle. So I'm really happy with how this young man treated. He's got a nice full smile, good airway. And I think that from his functional occlusion, he's going to be set for a lifetime. With this, whereas, just thinking about what it'd be like if he didn't have access to ortho care, where we weren't able to treat him in such a simple manner. His smile transformation, you can see again, we really weren't able to develop his smile arc because he still had that anterior interference right there at the end of phase 2, beginning of phase 3. You could see that upper arch kind of come down, and then his final is just looking really great. Again, what a really nice case in 14 months. You can see that his mini aesthetics are set, and like all cases, his micro-esthetics are dialed in. And again, with a little bit of healing, I think this case is going to look even better with time as long as he wears his retainers. So again, you can see the efficiency of this as we move around from initial to bonding to phase 3 to final. If we look at his treatment statistics, you can see that this young man was treated in 14 months, 9 visits, no archwire bends, no broken brackets. Again, model patient. Really, really, really excited to show this case because it does show the power of full expression, a good plan, and a great patient. So hopefully you enjoyed this case. Again, if you're interested in this type of treatment, continue to check us out at theultimateorthodonticacademy.com. Follow our socials. We have a mission of providing some amazing content for anybody who's interested in increasing their level of orthodontic care. So talk to you guys soon, and until next case, bye-bye.